Hey everyone, welcome to another masterclass where we discuss the essentials of astrophotography. And today I'm to talk about the iOptron SkyGuider Pro, which I kind of introduced in one of my previous videos. I wanted to circle back and give you a review of what I thought of this after using it for about a month. I basically used it exclusively for all of my shoots. In the month of May, I believe I was out shooting track shots probably 5 or 6 nights. So I got a good chance to get an opinion on what I think of this device compared to all the other trackers that I've used. So yeah, if you're not familiar with me, I'm Sam, and I lead astrophotography workshops. And I wanted to just really briefly show you my website. So you can go to here and see my workshop calendar. You can see at the top here a nice photo of the Great Sand Dunes National Park. Actually, I was just there earlier today, actually. And I traveled back, and I have a bunch of images that I have from that you'll be seeing over the next few weeks. And I just also am announcing a workshop there next month in July. So if we scroll on my website here, you can see here that there's a calendar and then also some shortcut links to the actual workshop details. So you can see I also announced a Colorado National Monument workshop, and that one is in August. So if you want to see the details on that, if you look at the Great Sand Dunes one, for example, you can see the dates, the cost. You can see images, other details, and then I wanted to quickly show you a couple of the images that I captured earlier this week because I think I'm really excited about them. So here's one that I captured. It's the core of the Milky Way and top of a sand dune here, and I think it's a pretty cool shot. But I wanted to show you also my favorite one. Oh, here's another one. This is a panorama I also captured, and then I think this is my favorite shot so far. And it's a pretty cool north-facing Milky Way with sand dunes. So this one was captured around 450 feet above the base of the elevation of the base ground of the sand dunes, which is around 7,000 feet. So it's about 400 over 450 feet of elevation gain to hike up the dunes. It's a pretty significant hike to get up to this level, and the views from there are pretty fantastic in basically every direction. So really excited that I was able to capture this and have that experience. I hope to share this with some of you guys next month. So hopping back onto the presentation of me here with the tracker. I wanted to just quickly follow up on the details of this tracker, right? So I think I mentioned the last time that this tracker is smaller than the Skywatcher similar solution to it, and so it would make it more portable. And it seems to have not all of the problems like the back piece falling off and all sorts of other minor complaints that I have with the Skywatcher Star Adventure. Like, I should say before you think I am bashing Skywatcher Star Adventure, I use that mount quite extensively for 5 years now, and I have had no performance issues with it. It works great for all of my purposes. So all my complaints are very minor, but overall, all the things that I had mentioned in my previous video were accurate. I have had no issues with any small details on here. Everything works. Yeah, I think I talked about how the degrees of movement are different on this mount than on the Skywatcher mount. So there's a limitation. It doesn't have the full range from 0 to 90 degrees. And for me personally, in all the areas I shoot, there's not an issue for that. And they, based on the documentation, there's a recommendation that based off of the amount of weight you're putting on the mount, you should choose an orientation for this tracker to sit on top of the wedge base here. So that's assuming you're using the wedge base that came with the iOptron SkyGuider Pro here, which I assume most people would be doing. So that was no issue for me. I was able to reach the proper degrees and polar line without an issue. So I used the laser pointer here. So I used laser pointers from Move for all of my trackers, whether it's the iOptron here, the Skywatcher Star Adventure, or my Nomad. All of them are using I'm using a laser pointer with them. I found this is the most effective a way that you can easily polar line. Like when you use your GPS in your phone, it may not always be accurate, and there's many other problems that you can have. But yeah, you just have to be careful that you're not pointing your laser at any planes or anything like that where you could get in trouble. So if you're cautious with it, highly recommend these. These are really great. I am not sponsored by them. Just have worked very well for me. So yeah, any other comments I have here? Basically, if you're interested in whether or not it works for a deep sky astro, I did not have the opportunity to shoot that. My focus right now is in capturing the wide field images, and so I use it for both panoramas and then tracked shots. And so for all those purposes, I was able to shoot exposures. I did some tests to see how good the tracking was. So just with a simple laser pointer alignment with Polaris, I was able to track exposures for over 6 minutes and get pinpoint stars. And then I stopped testing because 6 minutes is a really long time to wait for one exposure. And so I was pretty happy with that. I don't think I will ever be using 6 minute exposures. There's a lot of noise and hot pixels and stuff that start showing up when you take exposures that long. But if you wanted to take really long exposures for potentially for your deep sky, it might work. The longest focal length I probably would have tested this with was 14 or 24 millimeters. So it's not impressive that this was pinpoint stars, but I think I can confidently say that this would probably be pretty good. And based off of other people who I trust who have used this, they say that the performance for deep sky up to 300 millimeters is very good with this tracker. So overall, I think it's very positive. I see what else I want to talk about here. So yeah, I'm very happy. And I guess the question is it better than the other options? So like I said, all three of my star trackers that I have, right, this one, the Move Nomad, and the Skywatcher Star Adventure, all three of them work great. I go out and I can shoot my my 1 minute, 2 minute exposures without an issue, and I have pinpoint stars with all three trackers. So I would say overall that if you're just looking for pure functionality and you don't get a defective unit, all of these will work well. So the differences are relatively minor. With this mount though, I feel like the compactness of it and the lack of weird issues with it, I think this actually puts it ahead of the Skywatcher Star Adventure in my opinion. It's smaller, it's easier to carry. I guess one downside is it has a built-in battery in here, which could be seen as a negative for this, because with the Star Adventure, you can just swap out your batteries if it goes dead. With this, you have to make sure you charge it ahead of time. But with the amount of time that these trackers last, in my experience, not being able to swap out the batteries usually isn't a big deal unless you accidentally turn on your tracker, which is actually an issue with the Skywatcher Star Adventure. But as far as I can tell, with the switch on here, it's back here, be kind of hard for that to automatically switch on and off. It's kind of shielded here by the back casing of the tracker. So I think that's probably not really a major concern. At least it isn't for me. So when would I be using this tracker? So I would be using this tracker when I don't have to walk very far, right? So if I'm hiking on the sand dunes, obviously I did not bring this with me, right? This setup here, this tripod is quite large and heavy, and this tracker is pretty significant as well. So if I'm doing a long hike, this would not be the tracker that I choose. I would choose the Move Nomad tracker, which I can actually show you here. The main body of the tracker is significantly smaller. Maybe it's hard to see here, but on a comparison, but the whole thing itself is much smaller here. This is the whole body here, so you've got an extra, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches here of like extra like dimensions here, and then the mount that the wedge mount that Move makes is much tinier than this one as well. So I guess they're probably you might be able to use that mount with this tracker if you get the right adapters and stuff. I didn't try that, but it is possible you could get a smaller wedge than this. But if you're going for stability with this SkyGuider Pro, like this wedge is really good. And yeah, but just overall the size is significantly better for portability with the Nomad. So if you're hiking, I still would recommend the Nomad. But if you are looking for wind resistance or things of that nature, like you're shooting out in the mountains or something like that, then you have a much greater chance, I would say, with the SkyGuider Pro and a stronger tripod like this to be having a stability to not have motion from the wind. So yeah, that's guess that's the main difference I would have between the two. Will I be? I'm gonna still be using a few different trackers, right? I'm still not like committed completely to one. So I really like the SkyGuider Pro, and I'll probably carry that with me when I need a second tracker now. I think that'll probably replace my Skywatcher Star Adventure as my larger mount that I carry with me. It's definitely not replacing my Nomad, which I carry with me whenever I need to hike anywhere. So you can see here this is a great mount. I don't have any concerns with it. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a really short video since I was traveling over the last few days, and hopefully this is helpful to someone. Yeah, so this is I can put in the chat here, SkyGuider Pro from iOptron. So I should say, like, I'm pretty confident that my Skywatcher Star Adventure would also track well for wide angles, like a 14mm angle. For a 135, I would say, I think you could probably track for 3-4 minutes with the 135. I would say, based off of what other people who I've talked to have had experiences. I think someone was doing 3-minute exposures with 300mm. So assuming you're on a full frame camera, you should very easily be able to track 135 even without a super precise polar alignment. But if you're shooting over 135 millimeters to 300 millimeters, I would say you should probably look at the Polar Clock app on your phone and actually look through the eyepiece over here, and then you'll see the Polar Clock there, and then align Polaris in the right location, because that'll give you a more accurate like tracking than if you just use a laser pointer like I do for all my wide field shooting. So that would be my recommendation. So yeah, so overall, I'm happy. I think it's a great mount, and do I say it's definitively better than every other mount I've used? I would not say that. It's just it's another mount. It tracks properly, and it has some advantages in certain scenarios. So yeah, it's still up to you which mount you want to use. I'm gonna say SkyGuider Pro is good, and then the Nomad if you're like traveling and hiking a lot and you don't want to carry as much stuff. And those are the two that I'm planning to be using in the future. So let's see, another question here. Yeah, so if you want to track for 3 or 4 minutes, like I said, I didn't get a chance to track with a deep sky image for this yet. But like this for me, I have several trackers that are much more advanced than this that I use for actually polar aligning automatically, so I don't have to like look through the eyepiece and spend all the time setting up. So I use the plate solving with my ZWO AM5, and also my I have a remote telescope in Texas that is set up one time by the people on staff on site there, and then I can run it every clear night. So that way I don't have to go through the full process of polar aligning, looking through the polar scope here and seeing Polaris on the polar clock or whatever. So yeah, if you have money and you're looking into that, you can buy a more advanced mount, and then that mount would solve a lot of the manual issues that you might see with this for a deep sky setup. So yeah, so that's another route you can go, and obviously that's much more advanced than what I usually cover on this channel. You'll see I have a few videos on my telescope setup down in Texas that I've talked about. But like, yeah, it's not my primary thing to cover. If you want me to cover in detail something like that, I could definitely consider creating a video talking about an advanced tracker setup where I go through the whole process of how I polar align with like the ZWAM5, the tracker that I have here with me that I use locally where I live, and then I could also talk about my setup in Texas if you guys are interested in that at some point. So yeah, I see there's like a few people on here today, and I thank you guys for joining, and hopefully it's useful for you to hear about my experience with the SkyGuider Pro here. And if you have any specific questions, you can write those in the comments, or you can go down below in the links. You can contact me through my website or through Instagram if you have any specific questions that you're looking to have answered. But yeah, I think overall, let's see a few more comments here before I hop off here. So yeah, some of the older setups are probably a little bit more complicated. I don't know. You could track for 2-3 hours. Well, that's crazy. That would be a really long exposure. I was I can mention on a personal note, like over this past trip I was on, like I was shooting 30-minute exposures for some tests, and I found that with one of my cameras when I did a 30-minute exposure, there were like so many hot pixels in the image that like it's basically unusable. So now I'm trying to see if there is a easy solution to this, whether I can try to shoot some dark frames for this, or if I can just not use those images, or try to actually go through it and I don't know, mask out the specific pixels that are off. I don't know. If you have any ideas of how I could solve that more easily, I'd be happy to hear about those too. You can either put those in the comments or contact me through the links below. But yeah, all right. Thanks for joining, and hope you have clear skies.